Hello, everyone. This is Mrs. Von Maxey with Miss Von Maxey Reads, and I've got another really great book for you today. This is The Great Kapok Tree, A Tale of the Amazon Rainforest, written by Lynne. It is a book that's really great for personification because it is giving feelings and dialogue to animals. It was written in 1990, which is quite a long time ago. Mrs. Von Maxey was still a kid. And even more of the Amazon rainforest is at risk right now as well. So if we take a look at the first page, the Amazon is located in South America. You can see that there's two shades of green. The darker shade of green is at the time what was existing of the Amazon rainforest, and the lighter green is what was already taken away due to deforestation. And even more of that today has been disappeared because of people cutting down lumber faster than it can grow and taking away the homes of animals and people that live there. Let's go ahead and get started as we go through the Amazon rainforest. Right, as we begin. Two men walked into the rainforest. Moments before, the forest had been alive with the sounds of squawking birds and howling monkeys. Now all was quiet as the creatures watched the two men and wondered why they had come. The larger man stopped and pointed to a great kapok tree. Then he left. The smaller man took the axe he carried and struck the trunk of the tree. Whack, whack, whack. The sounds of the blows rang through the forest. The wood of the tree was very hard. Chop, chop, chop. The man wiped the sweat that ran down his face and neck. Whack, chop, whack, chop. Soon the man grew tired. He sat down to rest at the foot of the great kapok tree. Before he knew it, the heat and the hum of the forest had lulled him to sleep. And I love this illustration because as you look through the forest, you can see all kinds of animals hidden amongst the plants using their camouflage. Some of them, like this bright red bird standing right out. Some of them, like the cheetah or the leopard, that you have to look right there. Sorry, it's a leopard, not a cheetah. A boa constrictor lived in the kapok tree. He slithered down its trunk to where the man was sleeping. He looked at the gash the axe had made in the tree. Then the huge snake slid very close to the man and hissed in his ear, Senor, this tree is a tree of miracles. It is my home where generations of my ancestors have lived. Do not chop it down. May not be the way you expected that to end. A bee buzzed in the sleeping man's ear. Senor, my hive is in this kapok tree, and I fly from tree to tree and flower to flower collecting pollen. In this way, I pollinate the trees and flowers throughout the rainforest. You see, all living things depend on one another. You can see there are beautiful butterflies that are all throughout. There's also caterpillars that will one day be some type of flying insect. A troop of monkeys scampered down from the canopy of the kapok tree. They chattered to the sleeping man. Senor, we have seen the ways of man. You chop down one tree, then come back for another and another. The roots of these great trees will wither and die, and there will be nothing left to hold the earth in place. When the heavy rains come, the soil will be washed away and the forest will become a desert. So if you've learned about erosion, you can understand how roots are really helpful in keeping soil in place. A toucan, a macaw, and a cock of the rock flew down from the canopy. Senor, squawked the toucan, you must not cut down this tree. We have flown over the rainforest and seen what happens once you begin to chop down trees. Many people settle on the land. They set fires to clear the underbrush, and soon the forest disappears. Where once there was life and beauty, only black and smoldering ruins remain. So all of these animals do seem to be quite concerned. And get real close with this one. It's a little harder to see. A bright and small tree frog climbed along the edge of a leaf. In a squeaky voice, he piped in the man's ear, Senor, a ruined rainforest means ruined lives, many ruined lives. You will leave many of us homeless if you chop down this great kapok tree. And I'm sure that that is not something that he thought about. Not just human lives would be affected, but the lives of all these animals. I'm going to give you a moment to ponder here. Do you think this kind of interaction is going to be when he's face to face? He's totally unaware. A jaguar had been sleeping along with the branch in the middle of the tree. Because of his spotted coat blended into the dappled lights and shadows of the understory, no one had noticed him. Now he leapt down and padded silently over to the sleeping man. He growled in his ear, Senor, the kapok tree is home to many birds and animals. If you cut it down, where will I find my dinner? Hopefully not that man right in front of him. 4 porcupines swung down from branch to branch and whispered to the man, Senor, do you know what we animals and humans need in order to live? Oxygen. And Senor, do you know what trees produce? Oxygen. If you cut down the forest, you will destroy that which gives us all life. So not is he only doing something to affect the animals, he's doing something to affect humans too. Several anteaters climbed down the kapok tree with their young clinging to their backs. The unstriped anteater said to the sleeping man, Senor, you are chopping down this tree with no thought for the future. And surely you know that what happens tomorrow depends on what you do today. The big man tells you to chop down this beautiful tree. He does not think of his own children, who tomorrow must live in a world without trees. A three-toed sloth had begun climbing down from the canopy when the men first appeared. Only now did she reach the ground. Plodding ever so slowly over to the sleeping man, she spoke in her deep and lazy voice. Senor, how much is beauty worth? Can you live without it? If you destroy the beauty of the rainforest, on what would you feast your eyes? So there would be nothing left beautiful to look at. And finally, this one to you. So there's a human boy, a child from the Yanomamo tribe who lived in the rainforest, knelt over the sleeping man. He murmured in his ear, Senor, when you awake, please look upon us all with new eyes, because there are tribes of humans who live near the Amazon rainforest and depend on it. And you can take a look at all the other animals that are there with them. The man awoke with a start. Before him stood the rainforest child, and all around him, staring, were the creatures who depended upon the great kapok tree. What wondrous and rare animals they were. Starting all the way from over here. You need to look at all of them. Jaguar. How would you feel if you were in that situation? All those eyes staring upon you, especially the jaguar. The man looked about and saw the sun streaming through the canopy. Spots of bright light glowed like gems amongst the dark green forest. Strange and beautiful plants seemed to dangle in the air, suspended from the great kapok tree. The man smelled the fragrant perfume of the flowers. He felt the steamy mist rising from the forest floor, but he heard no sound, for the creatures were strangely silent. So I want you to make a prediction. How is he going to feel about completing his job? So if I look at this picture, he's got his axe in his hand. The man stood and picked up his axe. He swung back his arm as though to strike the tree. Suddenly he stopped. He turned and looked at the animals and the child. He hesitated, then dropped the axe and walked out of the rainforest. And that is the end of the story. So taking away from that is a message that we should try to care for our earth because everything we do depends on us as humans and the impact that we make to our earth. Right. I hope you enjoyed the great Kapok tree, and I will see you again with our next story. Have a great day.